Hi guys, welcome. Good to see you. If this is your first time here, it is Bald TV. All right, so today I'm just gonna jump into a new book review. It's a new book that I've been working on, and the title of the book is Things Your Domestic Workers Will Love to Tell You, but They Will Not. So it's just cleaners tell all. So it's just, the book is about different type of stories that cleaners are telling us, what they face in different clients' homes and whatnot. This book is already a bestseller on Amazon. And also, if you guys remember my other book, Princess Nora and the Pigeon, that one is also a bestseller on Amazon. And the other book that I also have on Amazon, What Does Trust Mean to You? It is also a bestseller on Amazon. So I have few books that are bestsellers on Amazon. But this one, you definitely need to check this out. This book is very interesting, funny, and a lot of lessons to be learned as well. So what is it about? So it's just the nitty-gritty of paying a stranger to clean your home, or to care for your children, or to care for your elderly parents. Sometimes it's a fresh air, because it's a peace of mind, but at times it can also be very challenging. Why am I saying it can be challenging? It can be a challenge, that is, if you hire the wrong housekeepers or the wrong cleaner. That can actually create a bigger mess, a very big mess. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go to, let me see what story I should tell you guys about. Anyways, actually, for you to understand this book, if you guys remember on 2011, and I think I mentioned it on this book, there was a movie that came out, The Help, and that was like, they're just giving us a highlight of how things used to be back in the days. When how workers or cleaners interacted with their employees and whatnot. So if you haven't watched that movie, it's called The Help. You need to watch that movie. That will just give you an idea. That is, if you've never had, if you've never had a cleaner, or you've never had a housekeeper, okay, that will just give you, something to look at, or a story to talk about. But anyways, that being said, just something to tell you guys quickly about domestic workers. Actually, I think I wrote it here quickly. Something to note about domestic workers is that domestic workers, or house cleaners, or people that clean companies or whatnot, domestic workers basically comprise a significant part of the global workforce. It is still considered an informal employment, and it's still among the most, people that work as the domestic workers are still among the most vulnerable group of workers. They mostly work for private household, often without clear terms of employment. Okay, some of them it's clear terms of employment, and some of them actually aren't registered in any book. They are not registered in any book, which is unfortunately, and they are also excluded from the scope of labor legislation. But I did mention also certain legislation in the US and in Canada as far as domestic workers is concerned. And the other thing that you need to know, right now, at least 75.5 75.5 million domestic workers work worldwide. So basically, worldwide, right now, both in developed world and developing world, domestic workers comprise of 75.5 million people. So that's huge, the number, how now, that is the, how big the number of domestic worker is, and that is a lot. And the funny part is not funny, but the interesting part is that 80% are women, right? So that is just a little bit of intro for you guys regarding this book. And in chapter 1, of course, I did, there is the introduction. I did talk about The Help, the movie that came out in 2011. It's on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. If I'm not mistaken. And on chapter 2 of the book, I talked about the Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. Of course, I also mentioned the National Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. I looked at both, how it is in the US. I also mentioned Canada, but some of the major issues that I raised in the book is I talked about, stories from maids, people that worked in different homes. I also talked about how to have a relationship with your cleaner, or even a domestic worker or housekeeper. It is very important, and I think I'm just going to talk to you guys about that very quickly. And I think that is okay, let me give you guys a chapter. If some of you guys are lazy, just want to go straight to the chapters, then you can just go there. And that is in chapter 3. Okay, chapter 3 of the book. I started on page 25, basically how to have, a relationship with your worker, because it's possible. And what I learned from this book is if you keep a really good relationship with your domestic workers, it's of a good advantage to you and also favorable for your children, your elderly, and that is also a peace of mind for you. Okay, all right, let me just see if I can get you guys a quick story on page, okay, let me see if I can get a quick story for you guys. I'll give you guys different stories of different cleaners in another video, but in this video I'm just gonna tell you guys how to have a good relationship with your domestic worker or your cleaner or someone that comes to help someone or help you in your house. For a good relationship with a cleaner, pay as well as you can and revise her wages or his wages if your own goes up. So if you're working and you get an increase at your workplace, or if your business is now doing well, try to increase their wages, right? That will be amazing. Notice their work and appreciate them. Your domestic workers, they will not do everything 100% as you want, right? But if you notice that once in a while they did a good job, that small thank you, or even if you're rushing to work, leave a note, leave a thank you note, okay? So that they know that, you appreciate their effort. Also, get off their backs. Some domestic workers, some people, not all of you, but some people, you are just on their case. They're also humans, right? So sometimes instead of them doing a good job, they will just go worse and they will stop caring. And then do not whine about your domestic worker to your friends or families. It is demeaning as complaining about your husband, okay? So no matter how long you've had your domestic worker, if they do something, don't rush into talking to your friends about them. Or because you've had them for a long time, they are not a family member. So in reality, they are saying that they don't want to hear about the story about you and your husband, what kind of issues you guys have. Those domestic workers saying, please, we don't want to hear it. So don't tell your domestic workers your family stories. Okay, and I guess that's all I'm gonna tell you guys for now, and I'll continue in the next video. Of course, I'll give you guys different stories of different domestic workers and what they are telling us as employees or as homemakers on how better we can work with them. Okay, so yeah, so that's all they're telling us. You know, if you keep a very good relationship with a domestic worker, they in turn will give you 110%. But if you're always on their case, they are going to stop, you know, caring as much. And if you're not available, your elders or your children will suffer, or even your pet, right? So let's try to keep good relationship with them. And they don't want to hear. Don't tell them about what your husband did, or what your elder son did, or what your mother-in-law did. Those domestic workers are saying, we don't want to hear about it. Don't tell us. Okay? Anyways, guys, that is it for now. And I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.